Mr. Chair.
I call the honourable member, the Honourable Nikki Wagner. Sorry,
Mr. Chair, look, I am very pleased to speak in this committee stage. The first thing that I want to say is actually I am quite saddened to hear this debate, because I do believe that every member in this House believes in a vision for education where it doesn't matter where you grow up in New Zealand, you get a good standard of education. And I am actually incredibly sad to hear when the opposition say that they support a flexible, innovative and collaborative education system, that they won't support choice. Because what this bill is actually about choice. It's actually about saying there are children in New Zealand currently that do not grow up with a great education, and it's about saying we're not afraid to try something different. And it's also about saying when we do that, we will actually put some accountability in place. We're doing that through the sponsor contracts. We've heard many myths today in this debate. Let's clear some of them up. The first is that in terms of funding, this is not about parity. Well, there's been a huge amount of work that's gone into the funding formula. And I want to just correct in terms of some of Tracy Martin's comments that while the modelling is based on decile 3, it will be actually on the schools that are enrolled. The second myth that we've heard is that this is actually all about John Banks. Well, actually, there are 59 members on this side of the House that support this legislation because we want more for the children of New Zealand. The next myth that we hear is that profit is bad in education. Well, I want members opposite to stand up and say to the licensed early childhood providers of this country, the private tertiary institutions of this country, the private schools in New Zealand, that they are somehow bad educational establishments. Well, actually, members on this side of the House, we support diversity in our education system. We recognise it shouldn't be about the educational structure. It should actually be about the best environment for different children. And we're not afraid to be supporting a piece of legislation that actually says we want to try something different, we want some more innovation in our education system, and let's actually put it in perspective. Let's actually acknowledge that after successive budget increases under our government, $9.7 billion, $1 billion going to Canterbury, that this is $19 million and a $9.7 billion budget. The other myth that we have heard is that somehow, and I want to address Matera Ture's accusations in terms of that somehow we'll be closing a whole lot of state schools for these partnership schools. Well, I am happy to say that we will not be going around closing a whole lot of state schools to set up these partnership schools and these state school properties. So I'm happy to give that assurance, because what this debate has shown me is that actually in this House, when they talk about flexibility and innovation, it's only on their model. It's not acknowledging diversity. Well, we're a country, we're a nation of diverse people, and we have a range of diverse educational establishments in tertiary and early childhood level, and we're not afraid to say that there are a group of children in our country that are not doing as well, and we're not afraid to say, with the right accountability and a piece of legislation for a small number of schools, that it's okay to try and do something better. And we're very proud on this side of the House to be supporting this bill.
I call the honourable member Grant Robertson.
Before I was